Ladies and gentlemen, and people of all ages, we are specific when I say ages. We need to know what your Saturday mornings were like at 5, 15, 25, and 35. And we also talk about the weed culture, how it is impacted, and legalization. Come ride with us. Welcome all, loved ones and friends. We are back in the building with another fly one. I am the Kicks God, aka Tawann, aka the Kicks God. You know me, brothers.
My name is Ramon.
And I am Snow, leader of the free people.
So, fellas, we doing good. Everyone's good. I'm good.
Living, baby.
Rocking out.
Good money.
So we're gonna dive back into childhood. We're gonna start with childhood first. And then we're gonna work our way up. We're gonna work our way up to adulthood. So between 5, 15, 25, and 35, what are your Saturday mornings like? And a million things come to my mind, but I am going to pump my brakes, and I'm going to hand it over to you, gentlemen. What were your Saturday mornings like at those ages? So if you need any, we start off with 5. And
all right, so
shoot.
At 5 years of age, what I was doing Saturday morning was probably Saturday morning cartoons.
Factual.
Because at 5, we was in Barbados, but we always had cable, and cable was it was satellite back in those days, and we would get the American channels and shit. And I would say that was the glory days of Cartoon Network. I remember, I don't know if Cartoon Network is around. Maybe I'm off on that time.
No, they were.
But
they were.
Cartoon TBS.
My mom would come in with some fried eggs and plantain, and I'd be sitting in front of the TV watching Transformers.
Oh.
And then what else would it be? Was it like Johnny Quest?
Yeah.
All the Hanna-Barbera shit.
Yeah, that was
just ape shit. That's what I
Cartoon
remember.
Network. Cartoon Network.
Yeah, that was my 5 years old.
Okay.
5 for me. 5 for me. Saturdays. Let me see.
Saturday mornings.
Saturday mornings.
Because remember.
Yeah. Absolutely. So
when you was a kid, a whole day was a fucking year.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So you could do everything and nothing at the same time, and it would just be one long day. So absolutely, bowl of cereal. You wake up early for no reason, bowl of cereal until your parents wake up.
Because you wasn't getting up early during the week, right?
No, you didn't want to. We had to.
Yeah.
There was no real treat of getting up early Monday to Friday. Like, at least not during the only in the summertime is it only worth getting up early in the morning, right? So, because that's when school's out. So on Saturday, you got your bowl of cereal because the big breakfast ain't coming yet. I got a lot of siblings, so we watching cartoons. That's Saturday morning. Cartoons. For me, at 5, we're talking Transformers. We're talking Thundercats. We're talking some of the Looney Tunes stuff, and some of it escaped my mind at the age of 5, but that's pretty much what it was. You go a little later into the day, like the afternoon, that's when the wrestling comes on. WWF wrestling, WCW wrestling was on prior to that, and that was at age 5.
Okay, all right. So I guess it's my turn.
Back in the 60s, what was your
and Turtles as well. I can't leave out Turtles in that conversation.
So
Turtles was there.
So I was 5 years old. I'm going to say there was, again, we're talking morning time. So you had a bowl of cereal, as Snow eloquently put it. You cannot miss out
Fruit
or
Loops?
leave out. No, sir. Fruit Loops. What was that? That was Fruit Loops wasn't a big thing in our household until later, when we decided, oh yeah, there's Fruit Loops too.
Yeah.
So
I'm
where was you
talking
at?
King Vitamin.
Yeah.
I'm
I
talking
knew he was gonna say King
Smurfberry
Vitamin.
Crunch.
What the fuck is
Yeah,
that?
King
Hang on, let me-
Vitamin. King
I'm
Vitamin is
talking-
OG.
Hold up.
We need to have a cereal conversation at some point.
Oh, we will. We will put it on the
Oh
docket.
shit! I never seen this.
You never
I'm
heard of King Vitamin? Yeah, we're gonna put you
Nah,
on.
fam.
When we have the cereal
Listen.
conversation, you're gonna get put on.
Listen.
Okay.
Just as I'm speaking, just pull up, add it to the.
Yeah.
All right. So we talking.
all right.
We talking King Vitamin. We talking Smurfberry Crunch. We're talking Mr. T cereal. We're talking cornflakes with bananas.
Original cornflakes with bananas. Yep.
We're talking. It was just all of that. It was all of that going on. That was the beginning, and there was two, because it was just me and Tony at that point. Tony, if you guys don't know, Tony is my older brother. So at this point, this is before my younger brother was born. Up until, so you're talking two bowls, a red bowl and a green bowl. And we would fight over this red bowl and green bowl every Saturday. Every Saturday.
Hilarious.
So, and
That's
whoever got the
hilarious.
green bowl, that you was the man. But if you got the red bowl, you was like, whatever. So sooner or later, something happened. I think I threw that shit.
Classism everywhere.
For sure. I think I threw that shit in the garbage, the green bowl. Now you ain't got a green bowl.
Nobody wins.
Nobody wins. So, and then he was like, here. I was like, no, that's my bowl. So, yeah, you got to find your bowl. So, then, once you got your bowl to start your day, your Saturday morning, now your Saturday morning consisted of Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, more
I never peeped.
Space Ghost, not from your era, Ramon, but Space
original
Ghost
Space Ghost.
from back. You had Thundar
I peeped him
the
once or twice.
Barbarian,
Thundar the Barbarian. Yep.
with Ukla. Yeah. So we had. Then you had, after that, you had more of the Looney Tunes stuff, and that's when. By that time, when Looney Tunes was coming on, that's when my pops was awake. So now my pops used to watch all the Looney Tunes stuff, Bugs Bunny, and my mom's would watch it, whatever. But more of that other stuff was, you had the Smurfs that came on, and you were bouncing. I remember bouncing from Channel 4 with the Smurfs to Channel 7 with Thundar the Barbarian, to Channel 2 with whatever they was on that channel, and then so now, once everything was starting, the cartoon fever was starting to die, then you had Saturday martial arts movies coming on every Saturday on Channel 11 and Channel 9. All right, and so now you put on your kung fu slippers, and now you're running around the house trying to be a kung fu master, watching the kung fu flicks.
I forgot all about the kung fu slippers.
That was my 5.
Shout out to Hong Kong Fooey.
For sure. Shout out the kid with the golden arms.
Oh, chill. Let's not do that yet.
Yeah, we're gonna pump our brakes though. We're gonna pump our brakes though.
So what was the other one
15?
at 15?
15.
Yeah, age 15.
15. My Saturday morning was, I'd say, gaming. I'd wake up, I'd have a bowl of cereal, and I'd hop straight on the motherfucking game. And there was an off chance that we would hit the block. Remember, Tawann, we would hit the block kind of early sometimes. because
Yeah,
somebody would want to
15
play ball early.
15 for you was more like 20, maybe 21, 22 for me. Late 20s, late teens,
Yeah.
20s for me. So yeah, because I remember playing a game of ball and everybody was laughing. It was actually on somebody they tried to get me to play. This little dark skinned kid. He was like, "Oh, I bet you I'll whoop your ass in ball and whatever." He beat me by a point, but I didn't go down like, "Oh, you wasn't gonna punk me."
You
B.
ain't with my ass.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah. So I think gaming was my morning. After it was a morning, because at 15, shit, you
Could
went to
also
bed
sleep
like
in.
4:00 the next
Yeah,
morning.
because you were gaming the night before.
Right. So that was my 15.
Okay.
Okay, for me, 15, depending on the time of year, will change what it was. So, right before, like, I'll just do it in the terms of a school year. So, wintertime, we probably just got all our new toys, aka gaming stuff for us. So when I'm waking up in those first three months, it's pretty much turn on. I guess at that point, what is that? PlayStation, Sega Saturn, Nintendo
For me, it was
64.
PlayStation.
Yeah. So I mean, remember I had the Saturn first, and I got a PlayStation a little later. So I had both at that point. We had access. I think we might have had the Nintendo 64 in the house at the time. I'm not sure, but basically gaming. Right. I watch a little bit of cartoons, because I'm not gonna lie. Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter were popping, and they had their cartoons popping at the time. And Dragon Ball was also available to us around that time.
Yep.
So I'd watch a little bit of that early as possible. Then I'm
And
flipping on the
Dragon Ball
games.
Z, if I'm thinking correctly.
Dragon Ball Z, yeah, it's around there somewhere. And then it was like, okay, so that could be any part throughout the year. My being 15. The other part of it is I was balling, right? So sometimes when the tournaments are popping on the weekend, I'm at BRC, I'm at Bessie Head, I'm at Salvation Army. We had 35 Saturday morning 35s. We had IS 55. We might be on our way to Coney Island. We might be on our way to the Bronx, but we balling. The other part of that is, depending on what was going on and what time it is, I could be dancing. So I'm up doing dancing practice with the squad and all this other stuff. So those are my Saturdays at 15.
Nice. 15 for me. So
one more thing.
Go ahead.
And I'm not watching wrestling on Saturdays no more, because also at age 15 is the Monday Night Wars. So that's why I didn't mention wrestling at 15. I was still watching wrestling, but just not on Saturdays.
Okay. So 15 for me, I was very heavy into music. I was DJing. I was DJing with two Geminis and a Gemini mixer at that point in time.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yo,
did you have Gemini mixers by choice, or is this what you fell upon?
It's what it was a starter kit.
So it has nothing to do with you being a Gemini.
No, it has nothing to do with me being a Gemini. No,
all right, cool. I'm that petty. It would have been because of that.
Yeah.
I will say that Tawann doesn't get enough credit for his DJ prowess. He may not be shitting ball.
Excuse me.
But he could ones and twos. Yeah, he could ones and twos.
Yeah, it's when it comes
mind-boggling. You don't have a controller.
Yeah, I it's something that I'm looking into, and the one that I really want, and this is just a sidebar. We're going to tie right back into what we was talking about.
It's age 15.
Yeah, but see, at age 15, I never. Well, for 15 for me, there were no controllers. Serato wasn't even a thing. At DJing with CDs wasn't even a thing. It was still
wax.
Yeah, it was definitely
15 for you, right? I had to put that in perspective. Yeah, 15 for you, that wasn't a thing,
right? 15 for me was 1992, 93,
right?
So,
right.
92 ish. Yeah. So for that time, at that time, I was I was making mixtapes. I was making
Nice.
mixtapes when I got I'm in high school. I didn't do my homework until Sunday night. Typical me. Saturday morning, because I shared the living situation was a bit crowded, so I had to be mindful of when people woke up, but I couldn't wait for people to wake up so I can turn my music on and start doing what I was doing. However, prior to then, that would be because I can adjust how loud I would be or could be. I'd watch a little bit either Saturday morning cartoons. I'd get still bowl of cereal in it, but it was Saturday morning cartoons was a lot less, and it was a little bit more gaming because now I'm 15. I've had all of the prior gaming consoles, but I'm still heavy gaming. So I'd turn it all the way down, and I would Mario it up, or I'd Metroid it up, or I'd Sonic it up, or whatever was popular at that point, because there were most games at that point where we were playing it. If it was out and it was popular, we were playing it.
He was on it.
So, and then after that, like 15, I would leave more gaming to my younger brother. But even though I was still heavy gaming,
right.
But I had so many. That's where my hobby started to do this.
Broaden, yeah.
I was gaming. I was chasing girls. I was DJing. I remember I was a high school kid, so I was doing all of this stuff.
Hold on. This is very important.
Go ahead.
How exhausting is all that shit today?
It is, son. It is.
When did we have the time and energy back then? We just had like mad time back then.
It's part of being young.
Yeah,
I know.
like,
It's crazy.
Like, I joke with my wife, like, yo, when she said, yeah, you running around with all these bitches. Yeah, no, sorry, not me. I don't have the energy to do such a thing. You know what I'm saying? But so that was pretty much my Saturday mornings at 15.
Okay.
25.
And we got the next one. 25, right? Rizzo, where you at?
Shit.
Lord have mercy on my soul.
Remember, the mornings, bro. The mornings.
The Saturday mornings at 25.
I know what the fuck I'm reading here. Saturday mornings at 25. Fam. Saturday mornings at 25 was about waking up, still drunk.
Yeah.
And you didn't wake up because it was time to wake up. You wake up because you're about to piss your pants. And your body's like, hey, get the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Climbing over some unknown woman.
Or breaking day. Don't forget.
Yeah. We get to the breaking day, but climbing over some unknown woman.
Uh-huh.
Looking, hauling ass out the door, but looking back like, who the fuck is that? Right? Coming out the bathroom like, good morning. Yeah, I see you're awake. Get the fuck out. Get out. So there was that. Or sometimes you just didn't get lucky and you just woke up Saturday morning, still drunk and sore because, we used to dance a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling like you just came out the fucking gym and look at your phone and start going through the text messages.
The slew of.
I saw you over there with some next bitch. You ain't, you got that. You got we didn't even get a chance to finish our conversation. Give me a call when you get up. You got that. Mm-hmm. And then you got your mansdom. Fam. Last night was real.
Mm-hmm.
sunglasses, and Advil,
Bars.
Yeah.
right? And then you had the breaking day shit
Mm.
where you was walking through the motherfucking door at like 11 in the morning.
For sure.
With the pancake syrup from the diner still on your face.
For sure. For
Like,
sure.
that was, damn, fam, that was 25 for me.
Yeah.
25 for me. I gotta remove all the hopes and dreams shit out of it. I gotta filter that out. So I wasn't climbing over anyone other than by the one who I was in a committed relationship with at the time, right? So that was dope. We were living together at 25. So my Saturday mornings were like, wake up, she still sleep, go in the living room, I'm on a PlayStation. Yo, fuck you. You can't fuck with me, fam. What's good? What's good? You gonna catch these hands, right? So I get the aggression out that way, right? If not, I'm making breakfast or being, someone making breakfast for me. Sometimes we caught those Saturday morning movies. You know what I mean? Sometimes we do the Saturday shopping because, again, I'm not doing the single life shit. I'm with a whole nother person. And shopping was not like going to like department stores. No, it was really just groceries and stuff. And laundry, I don't think we've ever done laundry in the morning. I think all our laundry was done at night. That's our era shit, do laundry at night.
Before you go out to Wild Out.
Right. You know what I mean? The only time we do laundry during the day is on Sundays, and that's a whole nother topic of a discussion. 25 also in the mornings was a bit of family time. Go check on the families. She would go check her family. I would go check my family. Sometimes we do it together. And, when we did party, because I was still allowed to party, it was my decision to clip it because my partying up to college was crazy and amazing. My party in college was out of control. So I was kind of like partied out. In fact, at 25, I couldn't wait till we got to 30 so I could make my stance. If you're having a birthday party and you tell me it's at a club, I'm not coming. Like I was already ready for like the lounge. And then to us be in someone's backyard just gathering for the day because I'm tired of being in the club. You know what I mean? And I would also say 25 in the mornings were sleep-ins for those late nights of whatever it was that we did prior. Whether you were just sitting up all night watching movies or you broke day or you was out with friends, collective friends or whatever, partying, just talking, etc., etc. So that was Saturday mornings for me at 25.
All right.
Mr. Geis.
So 25 for me. So first of all, I'm already knee deep in my career. All right, which I started at 23. I was 23 going on I was 23 going on 24. So it's 2000, and I can even point out the time. This is 2002. 2001, 2002. So I'm either at work at this point in time because I was on the wheel. So it was highly likely that I could have been or going to work at this point. Or if I was off, I was on the block. So if I was off, that means I got off the Friday either at 3, at 11, at 9, or at the very worst, going in at those times at 3, or getting off or going at 3, or going to work to be there at 11. So at this point, I'm like, oh shit, yo, I'm missing all the fun on the block, all the fun. So I need to be there. What something is going on. I mean, it wasn't everyone hadn't flocked, so to speak, to the block at that point. It was still everyone was still in the community. Ramon, you was there. Terrence was close still. Lenny was around the corner. I'm up the block. Tori's up
Jeff
the block. Jeff's up the right there.
Fucking boy.
Ed is up the block. What's your homeboy that Ed knew when Ed became a police officer? He became a police officer.
Junior.
Was that his name? He what?
Junior.
It was another name. It was somebody else that was up there. Ed and him was like
Peter.
Peter was down the block, but so we were all, and
it was a synergy.
Yeah, and the thing that you was talking when you was talking about, I think 15. One of the dudes I was playing basketball with that you knew, I think you knew him. Peter knew him as well. Him and Peter were like this. This. I'll remember his name, whatever. But 25. Yeah, it was like Saturday mornings. I might have all. Were we going to the diner at that point?
Because we would bring the spoils. By the spoils,
right? But I'm 25.
Referring to the ladies.
I'm 25. You're younger. No, the spoils.
Yet. You're right. We wasn't wilding out like that.
Yeah. So I'm 25.
We was just hanging out doing like playing manhunt and all type of stupid shit.
Right. So I'm 25. I'm giving the game to Ramon, to Tori, to what's the boy Omar right next door to me.
Yeah.
So they're looking at me because I'm at the height. Of my. I mean, they might have seen me come through with a laundry list of things.
Remember when I ran up on that thing you had in the truck?
Yes.
You was on the junction and you went to get something. You just went and ran in the truck
to
and
the
closed
movies.
the door. She was like, "What the?"
Yeah. Yo, it's raining. It's raining, and she said, "There's someone standing by your door." I looked over. I'm like, "Wait, who the fuck?" It's Ramon. I'm like, "What the fuck is going on? What is wrong with this man?" But it was just, it was definitely fun. It was like.
It was fun times.
It was more mentor type. Like I looked everyone,
big brother, small brother.
Yeah, everyone was became my little brother then. You know what I'm saying? And it's like whenever if somebody remember Lenny had the Sable, and I'd park up and I'd drive the Sable and go wherever. Yeah. So
because we was now starting to learn how to drive.
Yeah. And I already had my license, so I'm like, well, I'm not driving such and such over. And it might have been slightly before then, but around that time, yeah. So it was like whatever y'all had going on, I'm down because everyone at that point in time that I hung around with, like I wasn't really hanging around with my friends at work. I was hanging around with y'all, but y'all were more. And it's a Saturday morning still. Saturday morning living.
Right.
Everyone would come around and congregate with us in front of our crib on New York Ave. And it was this. It was all just building and having fun, telling jokes or snapping on Omar or snapping on Lenny, whatever. And that was it. Cut. Yep. That was it. Still Saturday morning cereal.
Let me just put this insert in there.
Go ahead.
This is very important to note because I know the brothers is going to hear this and be like, "You wildin'." It was 25 mornings, Saturday mornings, Saturday night.
Yeah,
we was out there shifting with no clutch, terrorizing Honda boys.
Yeah, when his 25.
Yeah, my 25.
Yeah,
we was bullying them streets.
Yeah. So
straight all street racing, but yeah.
So
35? 35, and I always said this to a ton of people. My 20s was wild amounts of fun, but I would never trade them for my 30s. 20s is when we had limitless amount of fun, but 30s is when I could really afford the shit I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't trade that. 35 for me was waking up with my now wife and just loving being in that space. It wasn't a strange woman. It wasn't some drama. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to wake up because, fam, let's be, I'm a grown ass man now. I didn't have the perspective to know that at 25, you was waking up, grabbing your phone, texting people, yeah, where we at, what we doing today, because you was fucking lonely.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I didn't have that perspective.
Mm.
I don't have to wake up and text no one or reach out to no one for shit
Right.
because that support system's next to me.
Right.
So at 35, it was about fully enjoying that.
That consistent person that's one-to-one to you is next to you.
Yeah.
That's the difference, because all those other
True.
people were still your support
Yeah.
system. It's not always about being lonely. It's just like if you wake up and the person to the left or to the right or however way you sleep in the bed, that's your first line of communication if that person is your friend.
A very intimate line of communication.
You know what I mean? What they say, out of sight, out of mind. If your person next to you is fun and you know you can do things with this person, like for instance, there's a couple times where I'd wake up or you wake up and like, yo, Snow, breakfast. Was you lonely or did you want to eat?
That's yeah.
But
I would think,
it's the
yeah, a
people's.
little of both.
It's the people's.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now you have someone right there. Yo, babe, you hungry? Yeah, I'm hungry. All right, get dressed. Wait, what you mean get dressed? Get dressed. We're going out to eat. You know what I mean? Because you want that experience. You know what I mean? So that's the dope thing. Okay, continue.
Yeah. No, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. You ain't throw no gaming at 35? That's a Saturday morning thing too. Yeah, I think so. It has to be.
Would we? I feel like I would have done my gaming the night before.
It has to be. It was some of it in there.
I'm sure it is, but I can't.
It's in there.
Nah, yeah, you right.
It's
You're
in
right.
there.
Because my wife would be out to her practice.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just kind of in the crib by myself. Yeah, you're right. Gaming.
It's
Gaming
not.
as well.
You know why it's in there, son? Because we both 35, fam. So it's the same year. I'd be in my bed. I'm up. I'm not eating no cereal. I might be watching some YouTube video, something informational or something cool Saturday mornings when I wake up. Or if not, I'm listening to some podcasts, or because podcast is a thing now, or I'm listening to some chill hop, right? With my eyes in the ceiling. The first thing I get from anyone that isn't looking for something from me is Ramon. And what I mean is, yo, I'm on the at that time, yo, get on the battlefield, get on Overwatch.
Yeah,
I'm on Overwatch.
Newbie hour.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, get on. I'm up. I've been running. Yo, fam, I just tuned this. You gonna love this car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out of my bed real quick and I'm gonna turn it on, make sure, and then I'm cursing at you for Microsoft updates. I'm cursing at you for Android updates in my phone. Then I turn on my computer and that want to update. So now I'm mad at you because everything tied to Microsoft is updating. So that was pretty much, you know what I mean, Saturday mornings for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's much slower, you know what I mean?
Much slower, but arguably more enjoyable.
I earned it.
Yeah, for sure.
I earn my sleep-ins on Saturdays, you know what I mean? And the
where
next
you
step,
at?
when it comes to me, I'll be welcome for it too.
Where you at, Tawann?
So I'm trying to lock down what year 35. This is 35, yes? Yes.
Yeah.
35 is for me at this time.
I think he was just getting ready for work mostly, no?
35 for me, let's say 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's about 2011. Mm-hmm. So 35 for me.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we did that on Sundays, right? It wasn't Saturdays.
No, it wasn't Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah.
So
because we would have to hit the studio early.
That's it.
Because Jeff had shit planned.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He had a shoot. But that's these are the times when LD for me, or lifestyles defined, was a prominent thing. For anyone listening who may not know, I was a writer. I wrote for a lot of your nice pieces. You will find what may have been authored by me, and then there was a transition. We transitioned in 2012 to video, but so I would say
we doubled down in 2012 on video.
Yes, we did, and so I'd say there was a lot of Saturday morning videos for me at this time, or recordings. There were a lot of mornings with my now wife. We were tough, and it was rocky. I mean, there were more relationship issues going on at that point in time. Just the growing pains of coming up with anyone that any couple can experience.
Rain or shine.
But these, like, there was those Saturday mornings I might have been with her on a Saturday morning, hanging out with her, doing something, or I stayed the night before moving up into that Saturday morning. There was a lot of that working. I would either probably be asleep or getting ready for my work day, because again I was on a rotating schedule, so where one Saturday I could be off, the next Saturday I could be at work. So there was a lot of those things, and I just want to notate, it wasn't that much more, so I want to notate just the transition between 5, 15, 25, and 35, how the transition becomes so much more from lighthearted and fun and not a care in the world to very streamlined and very very serious, dealing with serious issues, serious topics, work, relationship, car, family. At this point in time, I had already lost my dad and my mother and my grandmother and my cousin. These were all key people that played a significant role in who I am today. Not just like you have aunts that were quintessential in raising me, but these people played a significant role. They were there raising me, and at this point in time, they're no longer with me at this point, and I'm still kind of feeling those effects. So this is an awakening for me, and like my 20s, I was an adult, but I wasn't grown. My 30s,
I can get that. You still somebody's baby boy.
Yeah. My 30s, I had to deal with real life situations that you don't, a 20-year-old or a young person can deal with, but I had to deal with them and then adjust to them, like make significant adjustments. I'm now living with my brother, and we left where we were when we lost, because we couldn't stand to be in that place that she established for us.
Painful every day.
And then we moved to eventually or subsequently to our own place, because we were still there at that point at 35, but we were still there. But it's just, there is still that looming dread of being where she established for us. And now eventually we move. But that was my 35s when it comes to a Saturday morning. There really weren't any Saturday mornings for me anymore. It was wake up and be an adult. And whatever adulthood threw at me on any particular Saturday, that's what it was. And I just had to either deal with it, adjust, or enjoy it however I could. So that was 35 for me. I still had fun. There were times that we still hung out. We still did.
Of course, we just talking about the mornings.
Yeah. Right. But even in the mornings, like hanging out or on a Friday night, Saturday morning, I get home at 4, 5 or what have you.
Right.
So, but it at 35, I don't know, it was different. It was different for me. Like,
I get that.
Like I said, I had fun, but there were a lot of looming issues that I may have played a role in, and issues that were family related and relationship related. There were just adult looming issues that were present on Saturday. Yeah, even on Saturday mornings. And that's my
okay.
Now,
let's take it to something that I think across the board, us coming up as teenagers, young men, whatever, has always been there, and that is the topic of weed,
marijuana, hashish, herb, smoke, greenery.
So my motivation for this topic is such a loaded and complex perspective that I thought I wanted to share with you guys and build on that conversation. Coming up, you were always taught no to drugs, right? And I'm
Just
wildly
say no.
skimming. I'm wildly skimming all of it right now.
Yeah.
You were taught no to drugs, cigarettes. You better not. Alcohol, whatever. Have at it.
Right.
It's part of being a man. And we've all had family members, friends, colleagues who chose to get on that marijuana path. And I felt like there were very real instances in my life, excuse me, where I could see that marijuana just wasn't a thing for me,
Right.
because I didn't agree with the culture around it. Being the way people perceive it, being the way
the negative stigma,
and the way I've seen it personally affect people and their goals and their ambition. I just decided, you know what? It wasn't for me. Even in a rebellious time, right, where somebody would tell you don't do left, and you would be like, "What? I'm going to investigate."
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me. It really wasn't that big of a deal. Like, I would look at someone that was in that world and be like, "Oh, you're a heathen." Like, no, you do what you do, whatever. And then, in my 30s now, occasionally coming in contact with marijuana, and then now, I keep a vape pen around, and I quite enjoy the enthusiast part of marijuana, the different highs from the different strands, and I think it's super interesting to see how I can now, as an adult, appreciate my decision to stay away from it in the early years, because I could see how a motherfucker can just get stuck on the couch and not do what you're supposed to do.
For sure.
Now I have that, like, I earned being on this couch and doing nothing. And that's where I'm kind of coming from. And also, you can't ignore how all of a sudden marijuana is cool, and now it's legal, and now there's all these fucking hipster startups, and it's just like, yo, fam, I get that, but I know people that's in jail behind this shit.
Yeah.
Like, their lives are fucking ruined behind this shit. And I'm always willing to have that conversation. And yeah, but it was illegal. I mean, I get it, but you were telling me it was illegal on no basis, really. Like, alcohol is damn near as much as a drug as marijuana, I would argue.
It is.
And that shit was fine.
I
So
would-
now
I
I'm
would
coming back
say-
to question
I-
a lot of that shit.
I would say that almost every incident that I can recall of was escalated due to alcohol, not weed.
yeah.
When both was
Yeah.
like, it was the alcohol, fam. Like, I really could just pin that.
For sure.
No, I'm with you there. And I mean, most of my interactions with marijuana as a young adult, it wasn't the what you see on TV shit. You know, some kid you never spoke to in school. Hey man, you want to try this? That wasn't it. It
That
was,
didn't
you
happen.
know,
That wasn't us.
That was very
We
that was
were-
highly inaccurate.
right.
We know who that
were
was for.
Yes, we were in a culture where you hit the dance hall and you partying hard. Well, the Jamaican man in the back lit up the spliff.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets in the zone. And now I know really what that's about. It's about the ultimate freedom of judgment. And it's a commitment to just being in that moment you're in. Like, I get that now. And it's kind of like, this is an example of people with their fucking agendas telling me was false. And it's kind of like, nah, fam, but you don't have a good perspective on this. You don't get to tell me what it is and what it isn't, because a lot of your shit is also skewed. The concepts you applied to marijuana weren't applied to cigarettes.
Right.
They weren't applied to fucking alcohol.
Right.
So how the fuck is this a negative thing? You know what I mean? And I wanted to get you guys' take on that.
So I'll chime in and throw my take in. My life or career as a would-be weed smoker started at the age of 12, 13. I'd say, damn, it was 12. 12 years, I was 12 years old. I was in junior high school. I was 13. I was in junior high school, about to transition into high school. 13, 14, in fact. Neighborhood, weed smoker, everydayer, hanging around the junior high school. We knew who he was. I knew who he was. He would harass some for pocket change or whatever. However, it was, yo, what you doing? And he's like, little nigga, you ain't ready for this. And I'm like, we're like, because it was more than just me. We're like, first of all, who you talking to? Second of all, bring that here. And he shares it, and I'm like, okay. And it was like, because I can say that I know good weed. It was mid. It was trash.
I think back in those days, they didn't have the wildness that we have now.
They absolutely did not.
Plus, we didn't have access to high grade, right? It was all regs,
Right,
Reggie.
right. But for then, it wasn't even Reggie. It was mid. It was like it. I would have had to smoke the entire blunt to get high.
Broke boy weed.
Yeah. So transition on. I'm smoking weed. I'm in high school. I'm cutting class. I'm smoking weed. En route to school, I'm smoking weed. I smoked weed. I wouldn't say regularly. I smoked weed. I smoked weed regularly after school, when I got with my friends around my home. Now I'm smoking weed and we blowing and we doing what we do. Transition. Now I'm in the workforce. So, you hang out with people you work with. Oh, you smoke weed? Yeah, I smoke weed. What's up? I got ba. Say less. All right, we going to smoke. So, We smoke right in. We lighten up right in Midtown. Right in Midtown. Trust me, you're gonna see a whole bunch of stuff. Whole bunch of people smoking and lit up and smoking. Whole bunch of people that look like you, and a whole bunch of people that don't look like you, smoking. You might even see some hand to hand in. So again, transition. Now I'm in my career path, and that has to stop. So I haven't in now I'd say 22 years, 22, 20, almost 23 years since then. So now that is my backstory to weed. However, the weed culture from that point when I was 13, 14 years old to now has butterfly effect, can say, has been applied. Now it's not frowned upon by everyone, because there are people who are still stuck in the 90s, the early to mid 90s, 80s, 70s, that may feel a certain type of way about weed smoke. And then you have the hippies that smoked all the weed back then, but they did other things than just weed. However, there are people who felt a certain type of way that don't agree with it, but now it's much more commonly accepted, and it's in many cases legalized. And the only reason it hasn't reached legalization in New York officially is due to the coronavirus, because that is one of the
it was on the bill for this year, right?
It's on the bill for this year of the governor's table. So and he has had every intention of signing off on it, but now his focus is elsewhere, and so it is what it is. And as to your point about how people viewed it versus alcohol, like, I agree wholeheartedly with it. Like, we can talk the prohibition about alcohol and about how it was legalized, and how it is more people die a year from alcohol than weed smoke could ever do.
Yeah. And that's, I think Snow is going to dive into that.
Absolutely.
Because I know Snow, he itching right now.
He's swiping, but he's itching.
The thing about it is, the war on drugs wasn't really the war on drugs.
For sure.
The war on drugs was the war on fucking black people.
And black people.
You know what I mean?
And by the way, someone that's listening, you don't have to take our word for it. Just look it up.
Do your
There's
due
documentaries
diligence
on this. So I got to make clear on that. I don't want you thinking that this is three black brothers talking that bullshit. This is a real thing. Just look it up.
Nah, and trust me.
I am not black. I am caramel. Excuse the fuck out of you.
And for people listening, listen, we don't get on here and rant. Oh, well, we do. We do
rant.
We do rant. But if we're talking about something, trust me, we're informed enough to speak on it. If we're not informed enough to speak on it, first of all, it's not going to happen. And Ramon is like, no, you better do your homework. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For sure. So
every now and then, someone just had a different perspective to give us further education. So always chime in, let us know.
Right, that's a fact,
and we'll revisit it.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And
I'll tell you the tipping point for me. The tipping point is two things. One, I'm talking about my 30s, right? I'm deep in my relationship with my lady,
right,
and I'm taking on photography.
Mm-hmm.
And running around New York with our boy Brian, because I knew Brian through Snow. We running around New York with a bunch of these big New York Instagrammers, not photographers, Instagrammers.
Yeah,
there's a difference there, and that's okay. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd be out, and I'll never forget this little white girl pulls out her vape pen and starts going to town, and I'm just like, well, that ain't no regular fucking, vape like Fruity Loops vape when you see it, because it's a ton of fucking smoke. The marijuana or the THC pens, they don't give that much smoke.
It's a light plume.
And then you smell the motherfucker. And I'm like, is she really just doing this out in the open in public like this? And I'm like, can you? Oh, I scoffed at the privilege, right? And then I would start to notice, you know, me and my lady, we moved out and we moved into the building we're in now. And this building is probably 98% white. So I know where all the black people in this building live, because you talk to them. They tell you what floor they're on and you know what apartment they live in and all that shit.
You just need to know these things.
Yeah. You know, I'd be coming home or leaving and I'm walking past doors and it is loud.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what loud means, it's a fucking harsh scent of marijuana.
Like marijuana, it's on its own, it's pungent. But this is where that a marijuana alone, Reggie marijuana is a fist fight. Loud is, nah, nigga, you just got jumped by 50 motherfuckers.
This is and they not smoking no vape pen. This is the flower.
Yep.
I'm gonna get to that word flower in a second. So they out here rolling and killing it, blowing it down. And I was like, oh shit, is it okay? Let me hit my man Gus up. You know, Kai smokes a lot. Like, yo, what do you recommend?
Big.
So I start dabbling in it
because I'm hunting him down when I retire. Carry on.
Oh, we on it. And you know, and then something about me, all this is happening, and I just felt like I betrayed my color because I was conditioned into the perspective that shit is not for you. That shit is not good. It's not becoming. It's not ladylike. I say ladylike to be funny, but you know what I mean?
Right.
But wait a minute. And then I'm starting to hang out in Williamsburg. So I'm spelling this shit everywhere. Everybody's eyes is red, fam. And we starting to go out with coworkers and motherfuckers is sliding you the pen under the table in the bar. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? I can't help but feel this guilt that I had toward my other brothers about this type of shit. And now all of a sudden it's not weed no more. It's flower.
Yeah.
What, we out here renaming shit?
Flower power.
Sounds very to me.
I go to Cali, me and Greg, shout out Greg, we go to Cali. We in San Fran and we like, yo son, let's hit this lounge because it's legal there. So we get in there, we get into the dispensary. It's a dispensary with a lounge attached. Let's say that. You pick your whatever it is you want to smoke. So we get this pre-rolled tarantula. So a tarantula is nothing to play with. What it is, first of all, it's like 2 grams of fucking weed rolled up in weed paper. 2 grams. So you off the rip, you getting hit in the face with a ton of bricks. Then also included in this is the sheave. So you know the crystal that the flower produces. They shave that off and sprinkle it in this shit as well. And then they got some shit called a dab. It's like a black soot or gooey substance. So if you smoke tobacco in a pipe, the moisture creates this black goo, the buildup. But it's like that, but from straight marijuana. And there's a bit of that in the tip of the shit. Fam. And then you get in the fucking lounge and everybody's smoking. So not only, picture a cigar lounge, but it's just all marijuana. So you hotboxing in this fucking lounge with this, son, I've never been so fucking high in my life. And I look around me and it's all types of hipster motherfuckers, people in business suits, regular motherfuckers. I'm just like, where did this go right?
Yeah.
And are we going to come back left to address this shit? So I'm high as fuck and I'm mad as fuck.
At the same time, having an argument with yourself.
Nah. And that was like 4 years ago and I never let it go. So this has been stewing for so long. Like, and what was dope, I did some research and found out that in Oakland, there's a few dispensaries where a portion of their profit goes to proceeds to helping to providing lawyers for young black youth who've been locked up behind marijuana.
That's big.
And drug charges.
That's big.
And I'm just like, thank you. Make it bigger. I want to see more of it.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
And what's crazy is it's still not regulated. It's legal,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
not federally regulated.
It's not federally, yeah, state by state.
Wait until it is to a degree. You cannot transport it across state lines. Wherever it's legal in that county or that city or that state, stay there, smoke it. Don't transport it. So let me give that it is regulated to that degree. However, it is not regulated to the point where there is a federally monetized gain. You understand? Like the it's not, someone isn't getting a cut from all of this, like cigarettes,
right,
or
right,
or firearms, or alcohol.
So that's the perspective. You fuckers putting so many black men and women behind jail behind this shit when all you need to do is legalize it so you can get your fucking cut and remove this from a criminal record. Come on, fam. Do what's right.
They're not worried about the cut because they were the one who was transporting the white stuff in.
Yeah.
Well, but that's the end goal.
So
who uses the white stuff versus the marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
So, my whole thing on it, I'm not. So we came out the gate for me as like, don't fuck with it, right? I'm not sure what age that kicked in, but I know it was super early. That's just like something that we don't do. Now, here's the funny thing. I don't know if my mom did that per se, but I know my dad did it. And I know, on my dad's side, they blow it down. I would say, family's been, both sides of the family had that whole drug era shit kind of like set us back another 40 years, right? So I feel all kinds of ways about that whole shit, right?
As you should.
And the one thing I remember growing up is I remember echoes of the whole hipster shit. I mean, the hippie stuff with Woodstock. And if you look at Woodstock, the only black people you see is Jimi Hendrix, right? If you're looking at something quick, there was a few sprinkled in the crowd, but mainly you see it's free love, orgies, and weed. Mm-hmm. One of those things that carries through that, which was on TV, which is promoted everywhere, is Cheech and Chong, right? So Cheech and Chong, for a very long time, is advertised as, the faces of weed, right? They still make money today based off of Cheech and Chong, right? Mm-hmm. And it's legal, so I think it's Cheech, or I forget who's the last one I saw, but like, they should be front runners and offload it, and Willie Nelson should be hit off with it too, and Snoop Dogg should be hit off with it as well. You look at how weed has become weaponized in the medium by two different types of users. When it comes to us, it's always in this dark palette formed by hip hop or rap rather, and it's evil and this shit must be stopped, right? Mm-hmm. It's blunts on the floor with the guts ripped out, this, that, and the third. Like that's what that always is, right? On their side, it's free love, it's party, man. Yeah. War, make love, not war. It's always that shit, right? So the double standard, me as a kid had already seen that, because the part that isn't shown on television is where we are using it in the black communities that I grew up in, right? Where motherfuckers just really just sitting in a circle, passing a blunt, having conversations about everything. And I'm not talking about the hood people having their wild philosophical metaphor. No, I'm talking about elders passing the weed pipe around. You know what I mean? Or just passing just a straight up blunt. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about the younger ones doing it. I'm super young, so I'm not a part of that conversation, right? Mm-hmm. But I also know, because I grew up around drug dealers and I grew up around people who allowed me to see into a life that I don't see every day, right? Which is people who aren't black and people who aren't black that grew up under the circumstances, which is considered as ghetto or as the niggas, right? I knew that outside of the hippie shit, there was blue collar white dudes smoking and doing all that shit too, right? I knew that. I also know that they were drug dealers as well. They had their drug dealers. It's the way the movies is, white people getting their weed by coming to some sketchy parts of the fucking hood to get it, and then they're gonna take it back across their state lines, across their safety line. Fuck out of here with that. Some of the biggest drug dealers in New York City were white.
Right.
They just wasn't going to jail, and when they got caught, it wasn't publicized. When you did a bust on them, it wasn't publicized. You get what I'm saying? Like, when you know people in the police force, especially the shit that went down in Freeport, right? When you know people who are police officers, fam, and you know what's going on, it's like, fam, this shit's just out of control. Because I almost got arrested for a nickel bag that was next to me that I didn't see. We was all chilling on the block. One of the homies got up. He saw him pull up. I'm like, I'm good. I'm not moving. Because if we all move, this is going to be a situation.
Right.
Fam, I'm like 11. I'm 11. I know I'm at 11. I know
how
this
to
is
move around cops.
this is a 60-40% chance of how we think this is going to go. I'm betting on my 40 that I'll be all right. I did not know that when homie got up, who was older than us, dropped the weed bag by mistake, and he took off because he knew he was hot. Son, that put me in a very bad position. I hold no weight against him, but it was just like, yo, this shit almost got super real for me just now. Like, I'm out here with my white shirt on, dirty as fuck because we was playing ball. I'm here eating chips as any 11-year-old's fucking doing on a Saturday, drinking, I think it was Arizona's at the time, and the 50-cent waters, this, that, and the third. Son, we just out here, we're all parched, and we're just putting sugars down. I'm getting hit with the full thing. So again, that's another thing. Plus, I happen to believe that the alcohol and the weed is two gateway things that lead you into someone to introduce you to crack cocaine, this, that, and the third. And it could offset us or balance us if not done properly. So that's another thing reason why I just don't fuck with that. Like, I saw that from the family, and I realized that this is an activity that we shouldn't participate in. So I'm good on all that, right? I don't judge other people, but I'm good on all that, right? And here I am about to get slammed on the hard concrete by this cop who just refuses to believe that this dude, that it ain't mine, that it fell out of my pocket. Like, you can't even, if I'm out here during the day and I got a weed bag on me at age 11, you would smell it on me.
Right.
Because that means I'm out here excessively using it. Right? That's what that means. I would reek of it. And the people who I'm sitting with would reek of it. It was what it was. It didn't go the way that that it could have went. I'm thankful for it. But like, it was just one of those things where that's all they needed. Mm-hmm. If they really if I was 15, if I looked 15, son, it was over for me. If I looked 16, it was over for me, fam. So this thing with the culture that is okay now, when I been know that it was always okay for them, it was never okay for us. I remember cabs were getting pulled over, and they had this thing what was it? If it was more than 5 ounces or some shit like that?
Yeah, you were deemed a dealer.
Yeah.
Versus, like, you were still going.
You were still going
no matter what.
It was
right.
More
but
than,
the differences of the
5
charges.
Grams.
5 grams, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the 5 was, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay. Because I happen to know that if we go down to the village and you wait till 3 p.m., you're going to see a lot of hand-to-hands, right? White people to white people. And they getting way more than 5 grams.
Of course.
They can't wait. The shit they getting look like the big league chew. If y'all remember that, right?
Yeah.
So, and how I know that, because I used to play ball down there, West 4th, where I would go watch the X-Men and all that shit play, right? So it's like, police was there. Right. I saw hand-in-hands happen in front of them. Not with us, no one with us, But other people, not an issue. But yet, I saw him shake down a dude who dropped something that looked like it was roll up, and they pressed him. He was taking off his sweat so he could not his tearaways, so he could check in. Oh, you're not getting on this court right now until we ID you and see what's going on. It looked like you. They're doing their job, absolutely. But in that same instance, these are not separate instances. I want to be clear about that. You just seeing a bunch of suspicious activity,
right,
of hand-to-hand contact, and you're not saying nothing. Two people don't know each other. They just walk past, boom, 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 and they go past. Oh, it's not a problem, right? Because that's just what white people do. But black people do that. It's an issue, right? So to me, this whole thing is just, I know what's coming behind it. I know that you're not going to go back and clear records or get as many people out as you should. Because guess what, right? The way that they curb everything that deals with us, or just in general, right, is, fam, at the time it was legal. What you want me to do?
Yeah.
At the time it was illegal. What you want me to, like, he should have waited another year. He'd have been all right. You know what I mean? Like, he'd have been okay if he'd have waited another year. And that's just how they're going to treat us. And another thing I want to get into, like, this nasty feeling. Like, I went to a college where predominantly white. If you let the statistics show from that campus, all the drug dealers were black. When the year before I got there was a huge drug situation which also involved coke. And it got so bad that they had to do something about it, but they didn't want to because they couldn't pin it on anyone that would have been of color.
They couldn't pin it on anyone of color, yeah.
So I get through the whole first year of college. So that was the year before. I get through my whole first year of college. And honestly, I don't know if anybody our color was doing the hand-to-hands. The second year, there was. But there was a dude who was a freshman who was white and super privileged. And he had anything you needed. Shrooms, nose, whatever. He had it. So he got mad and he snitched. But everybody in the world anybody on that campus knew that that's the guy you go to. So nothing ever happened to this dude because dude snitched on him too. They pressed him.
Yeah.
And he was all right. When they pressed one of ours, he was gone. Didn't find nothing on him, but he was gone. And it was just like, so where are we going to stop with this line? Like, how are you going to empower, if we're the ones that are being known to do this, right? Right? Okay, cool. They also have things in place that if someone got caught with it 10, 15 years ago, they can't start a business in this culture, in this business. Like, you have so many things in place to stop the people who you also were telling, like, hey, this is illegal. But now that it's legal, guess what? You can't sell it legally. You may be able to work for a business that does it. How was it? What does that sound like today? That sounds like the same thing. Son, this shit is just really, 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 really ugly. Now, again, I'm not condoning selling the drugs and this, that, and the third. In fact, I have a long history of beef with family members and stuff like that where we go back and forth about, like, their choices that they made, right? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, y'all know what time it is, and we're being iced again.
Yeah. It's added to the list of emancipation.
right.
That's a long fucking list right there.
Because I could tell you another thing that never got legal: cocaine and crack.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, which is ultimately the same fucking thing.
Yeah. But there's a reason why we draw the line, right? And the reason why I bring that up is because everybody knows how it was transported in these United States of America. Everybody knows this, and all of them have had successful careers. That wasn't us.
Right.
Yep. I have a very fucked up opinion and hot take when it comes to turning over and classifying drugs. Today, currently how things are today, yep, marijuana is not a big deal. All right, motherfuckers. You know what's a big deal? Meth,
Always
coke.
happened.
And these things are a big deal amongst the teens coming up. Now, the big thing for the last like 2 or 3 years, maybe a little further back than that, the suburbs are fucking hurting.
Opioids.
Yep, they're hurting because of the opioids and the meth. And hear what I say. The suburbs, right? That's white suburbia.
Mm-hmm.
Son, it is running through their youth. Long Island, Westchester, and these lawmakers are scratching their heads. What do you do? Because you refuse to crack down on your preferred substance,
Right.
because you won't be able to do it at work during lunchtime under your desk, but now your kids are suffering.
Right.
Fam, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm waiting for them to be like, let's clean it up for real. Let's actually fix this, because now it's affecting my kids.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
No, I understand. I think that the effectiveness or its reach, it reaches too many people for them to properly, like, they're just now starting to reach the people who are profiting from black people or people in general being jailed or institutionalized, or when it comes to the sale of these of marijuana. So what I mean by is being familiar with the legal aspect of individuals being jailed for possession, or possession with intent to sell, or for those who are possession with for personal use, because that's a misdemeanor. It's a charge. At this point in time, they have since released generally mostly everyone. I'm going to say everyone that was incarcerated for marijuana.
Fam, I'm happy to hear that.
I am too, because there is no way you're going to legalize this and then keep me in jail for what was legal. All right. When it comes to how it affects other people where it's not legal in let's say high society, I think, in my opinion, it's just going to happen until it's across the board legalized. When it comes to the underlying details behind this, like people's pockets who are padded, like, I'm surprised they let those people out of jail like as quickly and swiftly as they did, because when one person business is positively affected, another person's business becomes negatively affected. And jail ultimately is the business of locking up people, and not just people.
Where they getting these numbers from now? Jaywalking?
For sure. And jail today doesn't look like jail when I started.
Yo, son, I'm happy to hear that, son.
You know, and like the number of people, and this is coming from a person that knows. Again, I might as well take the cloak off. Being involved in the correction law and the law of being a correction officer, I can tell you that the number of people incarcerated at jails on Rikers Island, jails I say, not the jail of Rikers Island, because Rikers Island has 10 jails, is low. Where it used to be 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, sometimes in many cases 4,000 inmates to one jail. It is now my jail is 350-ish, fluctuating. And it's going down even more so because before I got sick and went out, it was 350, 357.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's lesser because they released so many people who were predisposed to ailments that the coronavirus will have a negative effect on them. And because it's so many people in so much close proximity in jail, that there was a threat to their life. And because they were there for many misdemeanors, many lesser crimes, they released them. So
I'm happy to hear that the system is working in someone's favor. Because usually you hear the opposite.
Right. And, you know, when it comes to, like I said, marijuana and the system, the jail system, it's non-existent anymore. So, like, it's troubling to see that in so many states where it's still illegal, that there's still so many people locked up for marijuana. Like, I understand, like, you just can't have 5,000 pounds of marijuana, and but that's a regulatory thing now. You're going into regulations and what a person is legally allowed to have versus what.
Or how much can a realistically smoke?
Right.
10 pounds of marijuana, dog, now you selling.
Right. Absolutely. However, a dispensary that can produce X amount of million pounds of whatever of marijuana, you're legal.
Yeah.
Just like there was I'm sorry, not to stop you. There was a gentleman, I believe he was from Jersey. Either Jersey. Well, he was from someplace. And he went through the federal mandates to have his medicinal marijuana transported. So whatever happened. He got caught in New York, and the police officers and the DA and everyone is like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but you're going to jail. And they locked him up. Subsequently, he was released rather quickly.
Right.
But what his argument was and what he's telling the police officers is, this is legal. This is medical marijuana. This is my paperwork. This is not signed by your governor. This is signed by the feds. It's cleared by the federal government of the United States. This is I did my due diligence.
I see that as progress, though.
Yeah, but
because he would have been locked the fuck up and never allowed to see air again.
Yeah, no.
At least the paperwork clear.
Yeah,
so it's an inconvenience.
The police were like, but from a police perspective,
I get it.
You know, it's like, you see, people misunderstand when you say police officer, correction officer, whatever officer. These are human beings. And the aspirations of a human being that just so happens to be a police officer is to come up, to get that winning collar.
That's a big fish right there.
That's big fish. That's big dollars. That's big money. Well, it translates into big dollars, but it translates into a promotion.
Yeah. So we're going to see if your paperwork clear or not.
Right now, you might say, listen, my paperwork is good. It's fine. I'm good. Yeah, it might be good, but you're still going down as my collar. And this person, the arresting officer can get, one or two things can happen. Either he can be looked upon as an idiot who didn't do his due diligence, or he can be looked upon as the next best thing. You get promotion to detective, first grade or second grade detective, and you go on with your career, and that's it. Or he can still get promoted, but this just turns into something that really wasn't. But he did his job. And I think that more importantly, people need to sometimes it's unfortunate to have to spend any time in anybody's jail cell, whether it's a Central Bookings or Rikers Island. However,
agreed.
Sometimes a police officer has to look at something and make a determination. Do I let him walk and maybe he's not correct with his paperwork? He's showing me this, but it's not the police officer's job to decipher what's on that paper. It's the police officer's job to say, hey, this appears to be marijuana. It gets tested.
Yeah, and you're over the limit that we were told.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know, so it's a lot of people rope law enforcement in as people who are supposed to know. In many cases, they're not supposed to know. Do you know that as a law enforcement, we cannot make a determination that something is marijuana or something is cocaine or something is crack?
That's why you need the evidence along with it.
It gets tested. We have to say on the incident report, this appears to be a white powdery substance. This appears to be a white green, leafy green crystalline substance. We're not supposed to state what it is, because if we state what it is or what it appears to be for by name, then what happens is if it's not that, but it's still
That's
illegal, it's your ass. If the DA is going to be like, you fucked this over because you called it something that it's not, and they're going to walk on a technicality.
And they're gonna come back with that lawyer smoke.
Absolutely. So that is why law enforcement doesn't add specifics to whatever it is they do. Driver appeared to be swerving based on what your best understanding, because
and that's the gray area shit that gives the law access, the ability to exercise their bias if they so choose to.
Absolutely. And what people all anyone needs to know is, and this is whether and I probably shouldn't be spewing all of this, but if you're aware of the gray area, if you yourself can say what appears to be, then you know how to teeter that line between lawful and unlawful.
I watch a lot of Good Wife, so I know what the fuck you're talking about.
So that's I think is the big basis and the sole basis, and even part of the conversation when it comes to marijuana. I'm glad they are legalizing it, or it's becoming more legal. I have been the good employee by not indulging in, because for us there are many opportunities for staff to indulge in these substances. And it's as an employee, you're given, it's almost a false sense of security. Oh, they're not testing me. They haven't tested me in 8 years. And then after you,
lo and behold, next day,
tag, you're it. So, but I'm happy that I'm at the tail end of my, I am the literal or proverbial tail wagging the dog, because I'm at the tail end of everything. And
hurry up and retire, son.
Yeah. And
hurry up and retire.
No, hurry up and be off the books, because when I'm off the books, it's fair game. It's when I leave and I don't have to be back, I could still be on the books for 3 months. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. So we gotta
give me that date, son. Yeah. So I'll have brownies in hand.
Yeah. When that date comes, oh man,
so.
Go ahead.
My last layer to this is I want to make it very clear that I am wholeheartedly against substance abuse.
Yes, for sure.
And I'm going to define substance. Mm-hmm. All of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Marijuana, cocaine, cigarettes, alcohol. I'm against all of that shit.
Sugar.
Let me tell you, son. I know what it's like to see a cigarette smoker when they haven't had a cigarette in a while. Fuck out of here. They're not irrational people. They don't have control of their emotions. Son, they are addicted to that substance.
Very much so.
Right? And going back now with my experience and my journey with the Mary J. Wanna, what I will say is, if you had to pin me in a corner, pick a substance that motherfucker would abuse, that the law should come down super hard on, I will always say alcohol. Always say alcohol. Because a motherfucker that's just, first of all, a teenager or young adult, they're going to do what the fuck they're going to do.
Right.
They're going to drink in excess. They're going to smoke in excess. They're going to fucking shoot up in excess. Whatever it is they're going to do it in excess.
Right.
And fam, I'm not making an argument for fucking crack or any of that stupid shit, but I ain't never seen a crackhead get in a fucking car and drive down the road and kill 80 people. A crackhead that's well in his zone, he's in the corner, slumped over. A dude that smoked too fucking much, you know what he's doing? He's on his couch doing nothing.
Yeah.
A motherfucker that drinks too much, guess what he's doing? He's a fucking menace to society.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind that the latter is seen as the least of the problems.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have that conversation about picking and choosing. Fam, substance abuse is just, I'll be in here and I know I'm getting ready to edit some photos.
Right.
I'm going to take a hit or two of my THC pen. It gives me a nice buzz. It allows me to focus in and get my creative juices going. That's all good by me. You know what I mean? You had a rough week, gather the homies, let's go out and get a drink.
Right.
And we'll get drunk, just like we get high. But you out here belligerent in the bar, I'm not with that.
Everything in moderation.
You out here getting high in your house, arguing with your wife,
Yep.
cursing at your kids, I'm not with that.
Yep.
You out here, you know, and the thing with the more harsh substances is people make that irrational decision behind the addiction to it. You'll do anything to get that high. I'm also not with that.
Right.
And I feel like we need to target substance abuse as the issue, not the substance itself. And again, all the pills and the Vicodin and all this shit, the codeine, all that shit. Get all that off the table, fam. All that off. Let's start categorizing this shit. You want to abuse alcohol? Get your ass to AAA. You want to abuse marijuana? Get your ass into the support group. You want to abuse coke and crack and all that shit? Well, you know, same deal. Same deal. But let's not stop pointing fingers about what's legal, what's not. Fam, every day I look around, it's hard to not see a fucking Hennessy commercial, a Scotch commercial.
Yep.
That shit's looking cool out here with Nas supporting Hennessy. And you want to be like that, dude. What the fuck you? That's the same shit, fam.
Yep.
That's the same shit. So that's my stance on that. Like, let's remove the stigma around using these things, because when used in moderation, again, outside of the harsher stuff with addiction,
Right.
when used in moderation, yo, it's all good, my guy. You wanna sit on the Xbox and game for 20 hours a day, knowing that you are supposed to be at work making money to provide? Well, guess what? That's a substance to me.
Yep. It's the same thing.
You out here, you wanna look fresh, you wanna go spend all your money on sneakers and Louis Vuitton and Gucci. Guess what? That sounds like a substance to me. Are you neglecting what you're supposed to be doing? You're abusing that. And it's more of a conversation around mental health, which is the catch-22, because marijuana has huge benefits to mental health.
Yeah.
Huge benefits.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like all this Alzheimer's and ADHD, all that stuff is marijuana can help with that.
Right.
Not only the studies, but there are people that I personally know where the marijuana helps you go, it helps you simmer down a little bit. I don't want to take that away from these people. So that's my last standing statement about it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Snow. Anything?
Nah, I mean, I think we all
Yeah.
got it out there. It's like the whole stance with it. It's we just got to get through it. What I'm eager to see is what we contribute to the industry, right? From a tech standpoint, how we do it from a marketing standpoint, how we do it from a ground roots standpoint, how you know how we can use this to create bridges to other avenues, cultures, places, maybe into other businesses, expand to other things.
Right.
I'm eager to see, that first several commercials that are gonna be weed related. You know what I mean, in some way, shape, or form, and we're on that, and it ain't a rapper. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to, just seeing how they're gonna walk back a lot of statements. I mean, because if you're in the know a little bit, you know that it really was just something that they couldn't figure out how to make the money on it,
Right.
and then it became a thing to do to get numbers behind walls. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just gonna be very interesting to see what comes out of all this. So that's where I'm at. When I don't want to dog pile on the negative shit no more, because fuck them.
Yeah. I'm on board with Snow. It's not much more to say. They're legalizing it. I'm happy about it. Let them legalize it for those that are incarcerated over marijuana related issues. And the state that you live in, it has since legalized. Then you should be freed. For
And your record be expunged,
expunged.
right?
Yes, absolutely. For personally, for myself.
That's why it's taking longer to get to New York.
Oh yeah, a lot of big cases in New York. Personally, well, you already know.
I'm gonna meet you in the clouds when that day arrives, sir.
Yeah.
Very soon.
Yeah,
Very soon. Get your Mario Brothers too, cause we cloud hopping.
yeah. what's Goku's Nimbus? Give me my Nimbus. Give me my Nimbus, and let me carry on.
Well, gentlemen, another great episode, another great conversation I enjoyed having with my brothers.
That's a Fizak. Any expectations? Anything to look forward to next? Anything to talk about? Anything on your minds, or we'll just throw it into the docket?
We gonna throw it in the docket. Let the people just be
salivating
at the mouth for the next topic.
For sure. Chime in this conversation in the comment sections, wherever they may be. Let us know your take on marijuana and what you feel, how it may have impacted you or your family or someone you know. And let us know if you about that green life. You got a green thumb. And I think that is all. That is all. I am Tawann, aka the Kicks God.
My name is Ramon.
I'm your boy Snow.
We are out of here. Deuces.
Peace.